That didn't go as planned, did it? I was trying to be snazzy. Never mind. Right, we're live finally. Right. Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek. And welcome to my midweek live news stream where I've got some articles and news items that I thought we'd have a look at. So that's what we're going to do. But before we start, let's make sure we are going. We should be live on YouTube. Fingers crossed. Yes, we are. We should be live on Rumble. Got to refresh it because Rumble's stupid. You never know what's going to happen. Come on, play. God knows. And we're live on Twitch. I don't know if we're live on Rumble. I don't know. It might come on. Whatever. Before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. But don't forget, subscribe. Let's try and get to 1K, 1,000 subscribers. It would be amazing. We're getting there slowly. So I said we're live on those platforms. YouTube. Have we popped up on Rumble yet? Have we, Chuff? I don't know what's happening with Rumble recently. It's been hopeless. Oh no, yes, there we go. We're live on Rumble. Yes, and we're live on Twitch. What else? I'm also on Facebook, X and Instagram. Links in the description, as I've linked my 2 books, Mercury Rapids, light-hearted sci-fi action adventure, Silent Predator, short horror novella. Give 'em a whirl. They're on Amazon, Kindle and paperback. I'll also upload this video to later on to Spotify, Amazon Music Podcasts. Yes, that's it. Links for all the articles are in the description. Later on I'll put timestamps in and all that stuff. Right, so off we go. Oh my, I've also forgot. Don't forget, hit that super thanks button or a super chat or whatever. It helps. Not that I've been paid anything yet because I haven't hit the threshold that YouTube starts paying out on them. But it's there if you appreciate what I'm doing. Not even I appreciate it. What else? I've also got a Patreon page. It's going on a bit, is this, isn't it? I've also got a Patreon page where I do, exclusive stuff and early access and all that jazz. And what else? Oh, my merch. Yes, I've got merch with T-shirts and stuff, such as the Bloody Hell Lara T-shirt and, well, not this. This is a one-off and other stuff. So, right. So, let's get on with it, shall we? Let's Let's have a look at this news. So, let me full screen this, and then we'll have it. So, first up from Deadline, the big news of the week has been Deadpool and Wolverine. A great film. I loved it. I thought it was great. Some people are saying, it's not as good as you think, but I think it is. I think it's a wonderful film. I think it's a lot of fun, and we don't want everything to be bloody all quiet on the Western Front, do we? Every time. Anyway, here we go. Deadpool and Wolverine, all the box office records broken, says Anthony D'Alessandro. And there's Deadpool in the famous minivan scene. Right. Behold the box office feats of Marvel Studios' Deadpool and Wolverine this past weekend. Highest R-rated opening of all time, both worldwide and domestic, at $444.1 million worldwide. It's gone up now. And $211 million domestic. We'll have a look in a moment at the current thingy. Grosses. Deadpool and Wolverine beats previous record holder Deadpool from 2016, which got $264 million worldwide in like-for-like markets, excluding China, and $132.4 million domestic. Right, here's the other records. Biggest global opening since Avatar: The Way of Water, $439 million in like-for-like, whatever that means. Biggest domestic opening ever for Ryan Reynolds, beating the original Deadpool. Biggest domestic opening ever for Hugh Jackman, beating X-Men: The Last Stand. Biggest domestic opening ever for filmmaker Sean Levy, beating Night at the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian. Really hard, that, is it? But anyway. Highest July opening weekend of all time at domestic box office, surpassing The Lion King. Which one? The original one or the remake? I've no idea. Now what's up next? Marvel Cinematic Universe is the highest grossing film franchise of all time, with $30 billion spanning 34 titles. We know that because I think Kevin Feige said it or whatever, didn't he, at San Diego Comic-Con. I think they just wanted to say that because they've not been making money recently, have they? Or not much money. or no money at all, losing money with the Phase 4. But they just had to put that in, because the previous 3 phases did well. But they won't say that, will they? The 34th consecutive MCU release to debut at number 1 at the domestic box office, the highest opening weekend of 2024 and highest since Spider-Man No Way Home in December 2021. Number 6, highest domestic opening weekend of all time. That's not a record breaker, that's number 6. The 6th highest opening day at domestic box office at 96 million. Again, that's not a record, is it? But anyway. And number 4, highest superhero opening weekend of all time, behind Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Avengers Infinity War. Oh, we haven't done yet. And how does it go on for? Oh, that's it. Number 2, highest opening weekend for a 3rd instalment of all time, behind Avengers Endgame. A 3rd instalment behind Avengers Endgame. And Avengers Endgame isn't a 3rd instalment, is it? We had Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron, and then Infinity War. So Avengers Endgame, well, the 4th instalment. Do they mean Infinity War? I don't know. As of this post, Walt Disney is responsible for 16 of the top 20 opening domestic weekends of all time, with MCU responsible for 11 of the top 20. Walt Disney also owns 5 of the top 6 opening weekends of all time at the domestic box office. When they say domestic, they mean America. The USA. Highest opening weekend ever for a US R-rated release, with 233.1 million international, surpassing Joker, which had 147 million, on a like-for-like basis at current rates. Highest opening weekend abroad since Avatar The Way of Water, surpassing Inside Out 2. And the highest opening weekend of 2024 in Germany, UK, Australia and Japan, non-local, as well as many smaller markets. To date, this year, Walt Disney has released the number 1 title of May, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, but still haven't got round to watching. June, Inside Out 2, and now July, Deadpool and Wolverine. So there we go. But let's have a look at what the current state of it is. I don't need to go full screen, do I? Because there we go. Notice there's a few stories there. Hang on, let me get rid of the taskbar settings. Just bear with me. Hang on, let me just get rid of that a minute. Where are we? Taskbar. Where is it? Taskbar behaviours. We will hide the taskbar. There we go. There we go. Right. Put you back. Spladosh. Now then, what we're going to look at. Here we go. Here it is. Alright, Box Office Mojo. Let's do a refresh and see what we're on. It should be the same. I don't think it'll have changed today. No. There you go. So it's gone up. They said 444 million in the article, didn't they? It's gone up another 52 million to 496 million worldwide. Will it hit 1 billion? Don't know. But, why not? Why not? I suspect it might squeak over 1 billion. But I'm no expert. I don't know. If people keep going to see it, then it will. And they're showing all the different markets. So United Kingdom, see, we're still, we're a poxy little country, but we're still a major player. Germany's not much, but quite a bigger and richer country than the UK. And, we've dwarfed it in terms of ticket sales for this film. Look at that, good old Mexico going out to see it. And Australia as well. So there we go. It's doing well. Will it hit 1 billion? I don't know. Keep going on about this R-rated film. Remember when we had X films in the olden days? By the way, R-rated is equivalent to the UK 15. I tried to say this on a stream yesterday, but I got shot down by a certain person, a YouTuber, saying I got it wrong. And so I looked it up. I thought, no, I haven't. It's the US rating system is it's G, PG, PG-13, R, and then NC-17, and then I think you've got X after that, haven't you, for the really bad stuff. Whereas in the UK we have U, PG, 12, 15, and 18. And your R is equivalent to R15, your NC-17 is equivalent to R18. I was told NC-17 is for the really bad stuff where they're, showing like porn and people being, unalived. I thought, no, it ain't. Films like Evil Dead were NC-17. I think, your stuff like that, and cheeky stuff is for your X things, isn't it? Anyway, Tim Rose says, saw it a couple of days ago. It's funny. It is very funny and very enjoyable. I really liked it. I had a big smile on my face all the way through it, which is what entertainment's all about, isn't it? Anywho, let's move on. Right, I'll just remove that a minute. We'll go back full screen again. There we go. Oh, no, we won't. Don't know what I'm doing. I'm all over the place. I think we're on Star Trek news now. Here we are. Yes, we are. We're on Star Trek news now. Here it is. From giant freaking robot, Britta DeVore. Cool name. Speaking of cheeky stuff, that's a proper cheeky person's name, isn't it? New Star Trek live action series with Lower Decks star announced. And then for some reason they're showing a picture of the Enterprise from Strange New Worlds. Or is it the one from the end of Discovery season 1? I don't know. But because they did slightly change it, didn't they? Between seasons, apparently. Anyway, this year's San Diego Comic-Con has certainly been one for the books for fandoms like Marvel, Dexter, and The Boys. But I've never seen Dexter. I know what it's about. It's like a serial killer, isn't it? But I've never seen it. I wouldn't call it does it have a fandom? Must do. But another beloved franchise is also delivering the goods for its incredibly dedicated following. Just when you thought the world of Star Trek couldn't expand any further, those in attendance at the franchise's Saturday panel learned that a new series is on the way. The live-action production will hail from a team-up between Dear White People writer and director Justin Simeon and Tawny Newsom, who is already well-versed in all things the Gene Roddenberry created universe, thanks to her voice-acting role in Star Trek Lower Decks. She's also one of the writing team of Starfleet Academy, isn't she? So, anyway, but a live-action comedy. Anyway, let's... set to land on Paramount Plus at a yet-to-be-announced date, the new Star Trek series was described as an action comedy that would be in a similar vein as beloved shows like NBC's Parks and Recreation, something else I'd never seen. I know it got Chris Pratt famous, didn't it? Steering the cameras away from those members of the Federation who are off discovering strange new worlds and learning about different alien races. Our heroes in the new project find themselves toiling away on a resort planet. So they're on Riser. That's the only resort planet I can think of, and the one that were in the Shore Leave planet that were in the original series. Sounds crap. And will it be like done? I don't know if Parks and Rec were done like that, but like The Office, as though there's a camera crew following them round, like that, and glances into camera and stuff. Will it be that sort of comedy? Don't know. The synopsis adds that their daily tasks are being broadcast to the entire quadrant, which leads us to believe that the series... Oh, yes, so it is going to be like that, isn't it? Which leads us to believe that the series will harness the mockumentary style. I should read on, shouldn't I, before I voice my thoughts. Harness the mockumentary style of storytelling like the aforementioned Parks and Recreation and The Office. I should read these articles beforehand, shouldn't I? But I don't. Alex Kurtzman is in on the action. Oh, God, look at his face. You just want to smash him, don't you? Bloody God, I hate him. Find something else to destroy, Alex. I mean, you were distracted for a while doing your silly Clarice series that bombed, and did you do Man Who Fell to Earth as well? That bombed. While you were away doing that, we got Picard Season 3, which were pretty good, and Strange New Worlds Seasons 1 and 2, which I really enjoyed. I'm not sure about how Season 3 is going to be, but we'll see. Because now he's back. Anyway. Those seated in Hall H for the Star Trek Universe panel on Sunday were treated to the news by Justin Simeon, who was already there as a moderator, and Tawny Newsom, who was appearing as a guest panellist for Lower Decks. Long-time Star Trek scribe Alex Kurtzman will also join the pair on the new series. Scribe, is the boss? Is that the main producer, isn't he? I forgot where I was now. The new series. An idea that was first presented to him by Newsom, as they're currently both working in the writer's room for the developing, there you go, Starfleet Academy series. Kurtzman's past work. It's just a destroyer of franchises, isn't it? See what it says. Kurtzman had nothing but great things to say about the untitled Star Trek series. Of course, he wasn't going to say it's crap, is he? Which it probably will be. As well as the vision and heart that Simeon and Newsom have already poured into the project. For those who may not recognise his name, Kurtzman has been the scribe, stop using that word, behind both Star Trek 2009, which was not very good, and its follow-up, Star Trek Into Darkness, which was bloody awful. On the small screen, the writer has been, and they're not mentioning, how he destroyed Transformers and other stuff, and he did other. I must admit, I think he was one of the writers with Roberto Orci on Cowboys and Aliens, which I did quite enjoy, I must admit. But anyway, so I will give him that. On the small screen, the writer has been with the franchise for years, holding credits for his scripts on Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Short Treks, and Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Well, they keep talking about his writer, is the producer, is the boss of Secret Hideout. In Simeon's past work, right? Of course, and Wingrace is here. I'm here just on the phone. Dear. Probably earning millions of dollars as we speak when you're doing your stocks and saying buy, sell, buy, or whatever. Anyway, of course, both Simeon and Newsom were beyond elated to unveil the series to the roaring crowd. That's all you get, though, isn't it, at San Diego Comic Con? That's all they do. You could come out and just, I don't know, have one of them, them cat teasing things that's like got feathers on a string. Just wave that about. They'd be going mental for that, wouldn't they? I'm not saying, clapping seals and all that, but that's what they are, aren't they? I'm sorry, they're just there. At the roaring crowd at one of the biggest industry and fan events of the year. The second to last one, apparently. There's another one, is it next year, and then that's it? Are they going somewhere else, or is it just ending? I don't know. Along with backing Dear White People, which he says could have only been done because of what he learned from watching The Next Generation. I have no idea what they're talking about. Simeon was also the director behind last year's Haunted Mansion film. That lit up the box office, didn't it? Oh dear. Outside of Lower Decks, Newsom held down a main role in the comedy Space Force. Well, that's what that's from, isn't it? But we don't see her in that picture as far as I can see. Well, I don't think she is. I don't notice her unless that's her there. But that was that comedy sci-fi thing, wasn't it? And there's also, which I've not seen, and there's also appeared in features including Quiz Lady, Vacation Friends, Spy. That's a link to Friends. I presume that's a link to the TV series Friends. Unbelievable. Pardon me. Spies in Disguise, and more. Not heard of any of them. More updates on the way. Why's a picture from Star Trek 2 showing the Enterprise going into the neutral zone? I've never understood that, why that little blob there is the neutral zone. But anyway. Star Trek 2, top film. Right now, no further details have been revealed about the plot, call sheet, or possible directors who will work together to bring the new Star Trek series to screens around the world. However, with the universe growing by light years, a bit too much if you ask me, we're excited to see what the trio of famed writers and self-proclaimed Star Trek fans come up with for the latest live-action production. Oh, there we go, that's it. I think they're going a bit too far now with Star Trek. I think they're trying to turn it into, a one-stop shop for every sort of entertainment. So we've got, drama series, we've got cartoons, we've got like serious cartoons, we've got comedy cartoons, and now we're getting live-action comedies with games. They're going to cross up, which we're going to mention in a minute. We're going to cross over game with Doctor Who. It might be the funniest thing ever, and it might work. I don't know, but I don't think it will. I think they're just intent on destroying Star Trek. And they're winning. Where's Legacy? Where's Star Trek Legacy? That people are calling for. If they'd announced that at San Diego Comic Con, the clapping seals, and I've had something to clap about. But no, we're getting this crap, which nobody asked for. We're getting Starfleet Academy, which nobody asked for. We're getting Section 31, which nobody asked for. It's just stuff that Alex Kurtzman wants to do. God, I hate the man. I hate the man. I hope it all bombs. Make everything, and I hope it's all rubbish and gets no views, and he gets fired, and because he's rich, so he can get fired, and just go away and not do anything. And somebody else can step forward and take over and probably do a worse job. They can't do much worse. Anyway, moving on. Quite a few stories today compared to what I usually have. We're staying on giant freaking robot. Chris Snellgrove this time. Here we go. Official Star Trek Doctor Who crossover is destined for disaster. I bet that's a play on words. I bet it don't mean that literally. I think it's probably what the game's going to be about. But I think it will be destined for disaster. But anyway, I don't know. As I said, don't read the articles. I just look at the headlines and think, let's see. And my phone pings. Somebody's sending me a message. Fans of both franchises have been clamouring for a major Star Trek Doctor Who crossover for years. No, they haven't. They've done crossovers before, by the way, in comics. Sorry, somebody just having a laugh with me. About wild haggises. For years, and it's finally happening in the most unexpected way. Eastside Games is celebrating International Friendship Day. While Israel is bombing Lebanon and all kicking off in the Middle East, and Ukraine's getting glassed by Russia, and vice versa, and International Friendship Days. Let's all be friends. By creating a limited time, and people getting stabbed and all that stuff in the UK, and shot in America, and all around the world, it's just a disaster. Where's the asteroid when we need it? That's what I know. No. What is it? Apophis. Apophis is coming into it in 2029. Fingers crossed. Right. I forgot where I went out. International Friendship Day. By creating a limited time crossover event between its two games, Star Trek Lower Decks, the Badgie Directive mobile game, and Doctor Who Lost in Time. That crossover begins August 1st and has a fun trailer. Oh, we'll watch that. But here's a blunt truth. This crossover... Oh, maybe more on about it. This crossover is destined for disaster because both of these games are seriously terrible. All right. So maybe I thought Chris Snellgrove was a simp. Not a simp, a shill. I thought it was a shill, but not in this case. Let's have a look at this trailer. I'll have to mute my mic, but... So there you go. That was the trailer for it. I'll not be playing that. I don't play mobile games. Only mobile games I play. I'll show you. Like card games. They're my mobile games. You see. I don't know if you can see. 2 card games, a word connect game, and a bubble shooter. That's all the games I've got on my phone. Oh dear. Right, where are we? Right, before we dive into the problems of these 2 games, we should discuss the inevitable crossover between Star Trek and Doctor Who. The Doctor Who showrunner, Russell T Davies, who has now destroyed... He revived Doctor Who when I was in the process of destroying it. Wanted to do a crossover with Star Trek Enterprise back in the day, and as far as he's concerned, it would have happened if not for the adventures of Captain Archer getting cancelled after Season 4. Now that Davies is showrunner again, his recent episode Space Babies had the Doctor make an excited and exciting statement about Star Trek. We've got to visit them one day. Did he say that in Space Babies? I don't know because I didn't watch it. The only episode of the current season, or the last season of Doctor Who I watched was I forgot what they called it, 73 Yards. That one where the Doctor hardly in it. That was the only episode I watched, and it wasn't too bad. I think because he wasn't in it. Anyway, while there have been comics joining these universes before, this recent plea from the Doctor to join the universes of Star Trek and Doctor Who had fans hoping for an on-screen crossover. Now in a monkey's paw twist, which means, you don't get what you wish for, essentially. That crossover is happening on a screen, or right, a phone screen. The cross-game event from East Side Games will bring Doctor Who characters like the 10th Doctor and River Song face-to-face with Star Trek Lower Decks characters like Boimler and Mariner. It's only ever them two, innit, that do these crossovers. The idea for a multi-game crossover event is neat on psychic paper. See what I did there? And the characters are charming enough, so why do I think this Star Trek / Doctor Who crossover is a Dalek-sized disaster waiting to happen? Because, simply put, the core games involved are extraordinarily boring, and adding a few cute cutscenes into a limited time event won't fix the core issues with the gameplay. As an example of boring design, Star Trek Lower Decks, the Badger-directed mobile game, is just an idle game. One of those where you come back after a few hours to use resources you have gathered and try to move up the levels. Eventually your only way to really progress through the game is to spend real money or watch some of the world's most intrusive advertisements, however you want to pronounce it. Yeah, that's why I don't play mobile games, apart from card games and, super simple ones. Doctor Who Lost in Time doesn't fare much better. While there are a few distinctions, it plays exactly the same way. An idle game that will drain your phone battery quicker than you can say exterminate. It's another title too where you eventually have to throw real cash out or watch awful ads in order to level up. Speaking of ads, no sonic screwdriver is powerful enough to keep you from accidentally clicking on the occasional annoying pop-up. Well, yeah, like I say, phone ads are a pain in the arse, aren't they? And that sometimes the X is the tiniest thing on the screen, isn't it? Hate them. I'm a huge fan of Star Trek and Doctor Who, as well as a lifelong gamer. On paper, I'm the exact demographic that should be getting very excited for this quirky crossover, but having played the games in question, I can definitively say they aren't even games, so much as the occasional cutscene sandwiched between a boring side job and a bunch of annoying ads. If this crossover... But what do you do in the game? I don't know. If this crossover just means sitting through commercials to get a bit of story, then I'm happy to hold out until Doctor Who has its inevitable crossover with Strange New Worlds. And that's it for that. Right. I'll not be getting it. It'll be rubbish. It's not for me. It's not for me. But, Wingrace says, he's back. I bet he's played these games and stuff, because he's a young man, so anyway, you sit through ads and then pay money to get more characters. As I said, I don't put mobile games on. Plus I ain't got room on this phone. It's always filling up. I don't know what with, or with what, and I don't know what to get rid of. You know, like phones these days, they always come like preloaded with loads of Google stuff and all that, because it's an Android phone. I never know what I can get rid of. And a lot of stuff you can't get rid of. But anyway. The Galaxy Quest / Star Trek one interests me more than the Doctor Who Trek one. Are they doing a Galaxy Quest Star Trek one? They'll be made in China. Anyway, there'll be some, programmers in China churning them out. Anyway, let's move on. Not interested. Next up, sticking with Star Trek. This one's from Variety. There it is. Go away. Who wrote this? Joe Otterson. Kate Mulgrew is hopeful Star Trek Prodigy will get renewed for Season 3. This message is good, she said in that voice. Yes, I posted the link on my community page for the trail. There you go. Today or whatever, or I usually check all your community stuff, unless it were a while ago and I've forgotten. Could be true. Anyway, Star Trek. There's Admiral Janeway in Star Trek Prodigy, which is pretty good, and Wingrace is working his way through. He's nearly finished. Star Trek Prodigy dropped its second season on Netflix on July 1st, and series star Kate Mulgrew is holding out hope the animated series will be renewed for season 3. Whichever day San Diego Comic Con was. Well, it was. I don't know. Was it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? I don't know. I don't know anymore. Fresh off her appearance at the Prodigy panel at San Diego Comic Con, Mulgrew said the energy in the panel's ballroom was electric. I had a full auditorium on Sunday morning for the panel, she said. They were thrilled. They were delighted. They're desperate for this kind of television. I don't think there's anything quite like it on television now because it's teaching Star Trek to a new generation, to young children, in an entirely novel way. It's all right. I enjoy Prodigy. It's pretty good. Prodigy aired its first season on Nickelodeon and Paramount Plus, but it's not perfect. On Paramount Plus, and was renewed for a second season not long after it launched. But then, amid larger corporate disarray, corporate, and that to do with poo. Corporate disarray, Paramount announced it was cancelling the show and pulling season 1 off of its streaming service, despite the fact that production on season 2 was already underway. In fact, it was almost finished, wasn't it? CBS Studios, then, by the way, I've noticed with season 2, there's some parts of it that look a little bit unfinished. Not in terms of quality and the way it looks. I mean, like in editing, there's some weird cuts and jumps and stuff like that I've noticed. But as though maybe something's been not finished and they've just jumped to another scene or whatever. But anyway, where are we? CBS Studios then struck a deal with Netflix to air both seasons. The show has received praise from Star Trek fans, with Mulgrew crediting series creators Kevin and Dan Hageman, I don't know how to pronounce it, for their ability to deliver complex storylines in a relatable way. The Hagemans, this is quote, the Hagemans don't patronise anybody, she said. They wouldn't patronise a 5-year-old. They're elevating the 5-year-old. Wingray says, I think those were made for commercial breaks when it was intended to be on Nickelodeon. Possibly, I don't know, but sometimes it is a bit jarring sometimes. Just do a fade out and fade in, rather than a jump cut. An obtrusive jump cut. Mulgrew also joked that a fan pointed out to her that Season 2 of Prodigy serves as an unofficial 8th season of Star Trek Voyager, due in no small part to her role and the appearances of Voyager stars like Robert Beltran, Chakotay and Robert Picardo, the Doctor. By the way, I've noticed somebody else. There was supposed to be somebody, I don't know what to say, because I don't know if Windgrace has finished watching it yet, but wasn't somebody supposed to be, or did they appear in Season 1? I can't remember. Never mind. Well, Harry Kim in Season 1, Windgrace. I can't remember. If he was, forget it. But he's not in Season 2, is he? I never noticed him anyway. Addressing the current state of the Star Trek franchise as a whole, Mulgrew praised its prescient leadership in Alex Kurtzman. I finished it last night. No, he was not. Was he not in Season 1 either? Because he's supposed to be in, wasn't he? He's supposed to be part of Prodigy. That's why he wasn't in Star Trek Picard, they said, didn't they? Maybe one of the bits cut out, maybe, I don't know. Where were we? I'll start again. Addressing the current state of the Star Trek franchise as a whole, Mulgrew praised its prescient leadership in Alex Kurtzman. So she's gone down a notch or two, in my opinion. And I like Kate Mulgrew. Janeway is one of my favourite captains, if not my favourite captain, because she didn't take any crap, did she? And she got a crew home. Anyway, and said she feels there is no limit to the number of shows the franchise can support. There will never be a saturation point, because there is never a saturation point for this kind of decency. This kind of excitement, she said. This message is good, and it's profoundly important. This is truly what we aspire to be, the best of ourselves. Yes, that's what Star Trek's supposed to be all about. Being aspirational and being the best of the best, if you can. From memory, Season 1 had Beverly Crusher, Uhura, Odo, Spock, Scotty, O'Connor. I always pronounce it as O'Connor, but it's O'Connor, isn't it? And Gavigan. Who's Gavigan? Can't remember who Gavigan is. Plus the obvious Voyager cast. Yeah, but did it have Harry Kim in it? Can't remember. It sounds a little Pollyanna, but when it's as beautifully created as Prodigy is, and as the other shows are, it's not Pollyanna at all. It's how we should be behaving in this world. Yes, it's a meritocracy, or it should be, where the best people rise to the top, and all that stuff, and they can also elevate people who are not doing quite as well, but they have potential. That's why characters like Reg Barclay, who may not essentially be, one of the best of the best, and all that, but he's good enough to, he's although he's awkward, a bit like me, he's good enough, and his friends and crewmates help him out and keep him on the ship. Whereas maybe on, in today's world, it'd be off, wouldn't it? But anyway, whatever. So there we go. So hopefully we'll see, won't we? We'll see. If Netflix, if it did good numbers for Netflix, they'll probably renew it, won't they? They'll throw some money at them and say do a season 3, and but we'll see, because you know what, Netflix likes its 3 seasons of stuff, doesn't it? That's doing things in 3s. Maybe The Martians. Anyway, so there we go. So fingers crossed, Prodigy will get a season 3. Fingers crossed. I'm not going to say how it ends. I liked the final episode. It was uplifting, and it had some nice little beats in it. But anyway, right. We'll move on. What's next? Still Star Trek. Lots of Star Trek news. Right. Screen rant we're on now, but Josh Temple's here. Sorry for being late. Don't worry about it. You haven't missed anything. Right, from Screen Rant. Star Trek Alien, not seen for 33 years, returns in Section 31 movie. There you go, that's a clue in it. By John Orquiola, the man with the Star Trek-y type name. Reminds me of that episode, I forgot what they call it now, with that crew member on that space station that Geordie falls in love with. Reminds me of that. I like the last episode. Meta commentary on it being hopeful, even when Picard and Dark Trek was not. Yes, it was, because all that happened in the last episode from Picard and all that, the Mars thing. But it still had that, feeling that we'll sort this out, won't it? Don't panic. Anyway, right. Star Trek Section 31, which looks pigging terrible, is bringing back an alien species not seen since Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, 33 years ago. At San Diego Comic-Con's Star Trek Universe Hall H panel, or is it Hall H? Is it H or H? Whatever, it's up to you. The first teaser trailer for Star Trek Section 31 was revealed, and it was terrible. It wasn't like Star Trek whatsoever. Academy Award winner Michelle Yeoh headlines the audacious first Star Trek streaming movie made for Paramount Plus, and Sam Rickardson is one of the several cast members whose identity remains unknown. Sorry, Garavik, not Gavigan. Garavik. It rings a bell, but I'm blanking on it. I'm blanking on that as well. Pardon me. Who's Garavik? Can't remember. It does ring a bell, but I can't think where I've seen it. I have no recall. Anyway, Screen Rant was at Paramount Plus's Star Trek Universe All H panel, moderated by Justin Simeon at San Diego Comic-Con 2024, where Star Trek Section 31 actors and actresses Sam Richardson, is it Richardson or Rickardson? You said Rickardson up there. We'll say Richardson, I don't know. Casey Rowland, Omari Hardwick, director Olatunde Osunsanmi, and executive producer, Alex Kurtzman, appeared. When Kurtzman asked Sam Richardson to spill some tea about his Section 31 character, the Veep and Ted Lasso, we say Lasso in the UK, Ted Lasso star, dropped a bombshell that he plays a Cameloid in the next Star Trek movie. Read Sam's quote and watch the clip below. A random ensign from the original series. It is ringing a bell, but what? Behave you. Yes. Galactic. Yeah, and I can't remember. Right, this is some tea, he says, does Sam Richardson. I play a species, I'm not human. That is the second iteration of it in all of Star Trek. I play a cameloid. The first time you saw it, it was Iman playing it in Star Trek 6, David Bowie's wife. So it's a shapeshifter. Ooh, tea. I presume that's the video of him spilling the beans that's on X. Right, why cameloids vanished from Star Trek for 33 years. And there's Iman as the cameloid. And there he is in section 31. They're on Rura Pente. And she appeared as Iman and a young girl and an alien. And as Kirk as well. Can't believe I kissed you. Anyway. Cameloids are a species of alien shapeshifters introduced by Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, in 1991. The Cameloids' Iman abilities were made possible by advancements in CGI morphing technology, as seen in James Cameron's The Abyss and Terminator 2 Judgment Day. However, after Star Trek Deep Space Nine introduced Constable Odo, René Aubergenois, and revealed he hails from a species of changelings that rules the Dominion in the Gamma Quadrant, the changelings, aka the Founders, became the primary shape-shifting villains in Star Trek, and cameloids were forgotten. Not forgotten, but just left by the wayside. Note, René Aubergenois played Colonel West in scenes deleted from Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country's theatrical cut before he was cast to play Constable Odo in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. But it was put back in the special edition that came out on DVD and all that. Still, Iman's cameloid leaves a lasting, because he says, we can clean their chronometers. That's what he says about the Klingons. Still, Iman's cameloid, and he's also, he plays a Klingon, but a human in disguise, spoilers, in disguise of a Klingon at the end of the film. Still, Iman's cameloid leaves a lasting impression on anyone who watched Star Trek VI, especially when she morphed into Captain James T. Kirk, William Shatner, in a memorable scene where the two Kirks fought each other. Since cameloids haven't been seen in 33 years, they are making an ideal comeback in Star Trek Section 31 with Sam. So, what happened if a cameloid and a founder, changeling, got together? What would they do? I don't know. After all, if Emperor Giorgio, Michelle Yeoh, Empress Giorgio, is leading a Black Ops spy division, who makes a better infiltrator than a cameloid shapeshifter? There's stuff that were at San Diego Comic Con. Strange New World Season 3 sneak peek clip, which was horrible. Season 3 cast Nurse Chapel's the original series fiance. Yes, we learned about that. I forgot his name now. And he's also in Enterprise, because that's a great show. Yes, he was, wasn't he? On that, like a space station, wasn't it? They made, were the robots or the holograms? Something like that, wasn't they? The crew had died, hadn't they? And he replaced them, didn't he, with... and SG-1, yes, he were a baddie on SG-1. They were like that planet where they went to, where they were like doing a war were going on, wasn't it? And all that. A changeling and a cameloid and Vendorian walk into a bar. Is that another shape-shifting species? I don't know. Anywho, so there we go. So that's it. Is a cameloid. There we go. Shapeshifters. I thought you were a myth. No, they're not, unfortunately. Next up, still more Star Trek and sticking on screen rant. There we go. 4 Star Trek legacy characters in Starfleet Academy explained, and that legacy. Oh dear. Says Jen Watson. The upcoming Star Trek Starfleet Academy welcomes 4 legacy characters from past Star Trek series to its cast. Set in the 32nd century, it'll be terrible. Star Trek Starfleet Academy is a spin-off of Star Trek Discovery that includes Star Trek Lower Decks' Tony Newsom as a writer, so she's not actually going to be in it, I don't think, but you never know. Yes, from the animated series. All right, they played a fairly big part in last season's Lower Decks. All right, okay. Oh, yes, I think I know what you mean. Yes, them with the tentacles. Yes, them giving it all that. Yes, I know what you mean now. Yes. I forgot what I want now. There we go. The new Star Trek series will follow new cadets and instructors as they rebuild Starfleet Academy after the burn decimated the United Federation of Planets in the 31st century, which made no sense. How come dilithium make all starships explode? Don't know, because dilithium's not the fuel source, but never mind. That's like calling Chief O'Brien a legacy character when he went from TNG to DS9. Yes, it is. It is. Anyway. Naturally, Star Trek Discovery characters were expected to be part of Star Trek Starfleet Academy, but none were named in Starfleet Academy's first casting announcements. Instead, Star Trek Starfleet Academy built hype for new fans by announcing award-winning actress Holly Hunter as the Academy's Chancellor and Captain, and actor Paul Giamatti as Starfleet Academy's villain. More recent announcements named Carice Brooks, Bella Shepherd, George Hawkins, Kareem Diane, I don't know, and Zoe Steiner as the Academy cadets that Star Trek's first young adult series focuses on. That's another thing, isn't it? Young adult. San Diego Comic-Con Star Trek panel finally confirmed that there will be characters from Star Trek Discovery in Starfleet Academy after all, as well as one unexpected Star Trek Voyager alumnus. It's number 4, Mary Wiseman as Lieutenant Sylvia Tilly. I didn't mind her in season 1, although she did start annoying me through the series. But it's season 2 and onwards, particularly the last season, she was a pain in the arse. Can't do with her. It's no surprise that Mary Wiseman, the power of math, people. Oh, shut your face. It's no surprise that Mary Wiseman will return to Star Trek Discovery's Lieutenant Sylvia Tilly in Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Tilly left the USS Discovery to pursue a career as a Starfleet Academy instructor in Star Trek Discovery Season 4, which naturally set Tilly up to join the Starfleet Academy series. No doubt Tilly will be our introduction to Star Trek Starfleet Academy as a character that we're already familiar with, and as someone whose own journey from cadet to instructor can be a blueprint for the potential character arcs of Starfleet Academy's young students. She's only a guest star, shockingly. Good. Star Trek Starfleet Academy is going to be a great fit for Sylvia Tilly, who is at her best when allowed to guide others. Tilly's aptitude for bringing disparate people together is first demonstrated in Star Trek Discovery Season 4, Episode 4, All is Possible, when Academy cadets who neither knew nor liked each other much have to survive a crash landing on a hostile moon by cooperating. Was it a Class L moon, I think it was, something like that. I thought Class L were like lots of trees but no animals, but that wasn't what they landed on. But anyway, after continuing to mentor Ensign Adira Tal, Blue Del Barrio, another annoying character, Tilly ends Discovery spearheading a mentorship program at the Academy, inspired by Adira, as well as Captain Michael Burnham, Sneaker Martin Green, and Commander Rayner Callum Keith Rennie. Didn't mind Commander Rayner, he were alright. You just want more Killy. Well, yeah, because like I said, season 1, you want too bad. You want too bad, Captain Killy. But after that, she just started getting annoying. Anyway, Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Episode 1, Red Directive, included a few humorous scenes with Tilly and her new love interest, Lieutenant Jax, Gregory Caldone. Setting the stage for the lighter tone and character-forward drama that we can probably expect from Star Trek Starfleet Academy. I can't even remember. Number 3, Oded Fair as Admiral Charles Vance. So why this is a legacy? Legacy, is it? You're on in, I know, but it popped up in. So we're in seasons 3, 4, and 5 of Discovery, wasn't it? Oded Fair as Admiral Charles Vance is a welcome addition. Actually, I quite like his character, I must admit. Probably because the actor's so good. A welcome addition to the cast of Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Fair's Admiral Vance gained popularity in Star Trek Discovery as a Starfleet flag officer who defies the unfortunate trope of Star Trek admirals being badmirals. Only one or two. Instead of being antagonistic simply because the plot needs a force for Starfleet captains to push against, Vance is driven by his protective nature and desire to hold Starfleet together. As the Commander-in-Chief of Starfleet, Admiral Vance is likely to have a strong influence on Starfleet Academy's policies, which could provide some healthy friction with Holly Hunter's Chancellor or other Academy higher-ups. I still don't get how they've just all gone back to Earth. Earth left the Federation for, 100 years or whatever, and now they've rejoined with that politician from America as the Earth president. They're just all flocking back to Earth now, are they? And putting Starfleet Academy back on. So where was Starfleet Academy during that 100 years? Didn't they have one? Didn't they get new? Did they just only recruit from species that lived a long time? Or did they just have on-the-job training? I've no idea. Wonder what they were using. Yes, I just said that. It must have been on-the-job training. Admiral Vance is also likely to be Lieutenant Tilly's ally at Federation HQ. Was that Federation HQ or was that Starfleet HQ? Because they seem to get that mixed up in Discovery a lot. I don't know. Or maybe it were both, I don't know. Should the need for one ever arise, in Star Trek Discovery Season 4, Vance and Tilly became friends while working together to fend off the pending threat of the dark matter anomaly, and nearly faced their deaths together. That bond meant Vance was willing to trust Tilly with sensitive information in Star Trek Discovery Season 5, and is likely to do so again in Star Trek Starfleet Academy. I don't think there's a difference between Starfleet and the Federation. It doesn't seem to be, does there? It doesn't seem to be. Tig Notaro's Commander Jet Reno. So basically, all the people that are coming back are from 1,000 years in the past. That are coming to train the new batch. Apart from him, they're all from 1,000 years ago, coming up to train new cadets, with their antiquated knowledge. God, I hate Discovery, I do. And I enjoyed Season 1. That's the thing about it that annoys me. Though it wasn't perfect, but I did quite enjoy it because it was new and different, and then it just went downhill shockingly. Anyway, it's great that Tig Notaro's Commander Jet Reno, which I do like that name, it's cool, is coming back to Star Trek Starfleet. It's coming back to Star Trek. Star Trek Starfleet Command will offer more opportunities for the fan favourite Commander Jet Reno to turn up, especially since Star Trek Discovery often underutilised Reno. After the USS Discovery rescued Commander Reno from the wreckage of the USS Hiawatha in Star Trek Discovery Season 2, that scene where you had the white male, cis white male mouthing off and then getting instantly killed. That scene. Reno became one of Discovery's engineers and occasionally popped up to lighten the mood or provide an out-of-the-box solution. Like Lieutenant Tilly, Commander Reno is originally from the 23rd century and stayed with the USS Discovery crew when Commander Michael Burnham orchestrated Discovery's jump to the future, which they didn't need to do. But never mind. Don't let that bother you. What Commander Reno will be doing on Star Trek Starfleet Academy hasn't yet been confirmed, but it almost doesn't matter. More of Tig Notaro in Star Trek is never a bad thing, and Reno will almost certainly integrate really easily with the lighter atmosphere that Star Trek Starfleet Academy promises. Is it going to be a lighter atmosphere? But it isn't. It's going to be like that SG-1 90210 thing, yo dog. Anyway. Can we get a bit of Nan, please? Yes, a bit of Commander Nan. The Barzan. She lost what they call them. What they call them? The horses have. What they call them? Them there that the reins attached to. She stopped wearing them, didn't she, for some reason? What it explained that I don't know. But Barzans always had them, didn't they? Anyway, not in the 32nd century. I forgot what I want now. After the USS Discovery kept coming up against life and death situations of galactic proportions, Commander Reno could decide she's done with all of that and start working at the Academy instead. Note! Commander Reno could easily be an engineering instructor, but from 1,000 years in the past. But Reno's wealth of obscure knowledge and padded resume, as described in Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Episode 7, every I don't know, could point to a funnier running gag in Star Trek Starfleet Academy, where Reno casually takes on a different gig every week. I mean, essentially, they're like Vikings that have come to our time now. Probably read a book, learned English, read a book about modern shipping, and then go try and teach people from today about shipping when all they've known is their longboat. God, I hate it. And number 1, Robert Picardo as the Doctor. So how are they going to do this? I wonder. There he is. Oh, that's in Living Witness, isn't it? Windgrace's favourite episode. Hang on. Which is kind of white. I want to say a benzite. Which is benzites? Can't remember. Hang on. Oh, they gave her implants. Oh, right, they gave her implants. Which is benzites? Yeah, that's from the episode Living Witness, isn't it? There's the emergency command hologram there, look. There he's singing. I hate the episode. Because always singing Robert Picardo. It does me pigging head in. It was on the Prometheus there, isn't it? In Message in a Bottle. I quite like the episode, I just hate him. I forgot his name. Andy something or other. The blue fishy guy with the breathing thing sticking out of his chest. From, is it Ensigns of Command? Are they benzites? Is it that one? I think I know what you mean. And there he is in Prodigy. Where they kept forgetting that he's got a mobile emitter sometimes. It was quite confusing in Prodigy. Sometimes we saw him with his mobile emitter, and then in the next shot, he wouldn't have it on, and then the shot after, he would have it on again. And then other times, it just seems to appear and disappear. I think he had his mobile emitter on once. I think they're on the holodeck. And Janeway said something like, return the Doctor to the sick bit, or whatever, or remove the... or said something like that. And it basically disappeared from the holodeck. And I thought, but he's got his mobile emitter on. I don't know. But anyway, whatever. The most surprising choice of Star Trek Legacy characters in Star Trek Starfleet Academy is Robert Picardo, Star Trek Voyager's Doctor. It's possible this version of the Doctor will be related to the backup version. They've been listening to you, Windgrace. You said this, didn't you? Backup version of the Doctor's programme from Star Trek Voyager Season 4, Episode 23, Living Witness, which sees the Doctor reactivated 700 years in the future to give a first-hand account of the USS Voyager's involvement in a conflict between two neighbouring species, the Kyrians and Vaskans. This places the Doctor in the 31st century, very close to the time of the burn, and about 100 years before Star Trek Starfleet Academy. I don't. Yeah, well, maybe. Because they went like 900 and something years into the future, didn't they? Did Voyager. But Voyager were 700 years from the future of Voyager. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, something like that. I can't work it out in my head. There was a very egregious one in the penultimate episode I just covered. Yeah, it just appeared out of nowhere on the planet, yes. With his emitter one. He suggested maybe he's like cloaked himself. Because I wondered that. Because he just disappeared, didn't he? When we saw it with the Doctor and not Janeway. Pretended to be Janeway, wasn't he? Spoilers. He just disappeared, didn't he? And I thought, I wonder what's happened there. And then just like reappeared, didn't he? But not as like it was like he'd stepped through a portal or something like that. I didn't understand it. It were weird. It were weird with that one. It were weird. Anyway, where were we? The capability. By the way, yeah, I don't know. Could it be to do? Oh, it could just be the Doctor. They might just have a hologram of him because he's essentially immortal, isn't he? To keep his program running, or keep it backed up or whatever, they could just keep turning him on, can't they? So to speak. Don't have to be the living witness one because he's over in the Delta Quadrant somewhere, isn't he? Or is he? Or they give him? Did he get a shuttle and set off? I can't remember now. I'm gonna have to watch that episode again. Did he set off back towards Earth, or did he stay on that planet? I've forgotten. It could be the Doctor, but that worries me about all of the history he could make up about all his friends. It'd be like living witness. They're all like, everybody on Voyager like Nazis. At the end of the episode, he said he got a ship. Yes, and headed to retrace the steps of Voyager. So he could have made it back. They probably wouldn't have taken him 700 years, would it? Who knows? We'll see, I suppose, won't we? The capability of USS Voyager's EMH to go beyond his initial programming, whatever we think, they'll do something different, because fan theories are never true, are they? They always go a different way. Usually a more stupid way. The capability of the USS Voyager's EMH to go beyond his initial programming means the Doctor could be teaching any number of subjects at Starfleet Academy. History, command training, holographic ethics, and even music appreciation are all possible areas of expertise for the multifaceted Doctor. Medicine is, of course, the obvious choice because the Doctor continued to practice medicine for the Kyrians and Vaskans before charting a path back to the Alpha Quadrant in Living Witness. It'll be interesting to see if the burn affected the Doctor's journey to Federation headquarters, if Star Trek Starfleet Academy is in fact picking up this loose end from Star Trek Voyager. I meant more about they could just have him throw away a line about when and how Harry Kim died, and then it's canon. Yes, well, yeah, there is that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just have to wait and see what they decide to do. No, Picardo recently replies. We know that. With these legacy Star Trek characters, the cast of Star Trek Starfleet Academy has characters from each of Star Trek's main storytelling eras. Well, not from the original series. Effectively, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, because Tilly was from the original series era, but she wasn't from the original series, if you know what I mean. For 2 seasons, anyway. Main storytelling eras, effectively tying the whole franchise together in a single show. And I bet they're really proud of themselves. Perhaps the inclusion of these 4 legacy Star Trek characters will even inspire new fans who are introduced to Star Trek through Starfleet Academy to check out Star Trek Discovery, don't bother, and Star Trek Voyager, do bother. Either way, the knowledge and experience from such a breadth of characters can really only benefit the next generation of cadets in Star Trek Starfleet Academy, who will go on to shape the future of Star Trek's 32nd and 33rd centuries. Why they said that? Are they near the end of the 32nd century in it? I don't know. And that's it. There we go. I'm not looking forward to Starfleet Academy. I'm not. I mean, it might be good, but I don't think it will be. To be completely honest. But you never know. Never say never. But I'm not building my hopes up, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Fingers crossed it'll be good, because I do enjoy Strange New Worlds. I know a lot of people don't like Strange New Worlds because it's, flying loose and fast with canon, but which is true. But then Enterprise kind of did, but it did try to get its way out of it towards the end. But we'll see, won't we? We'll see. But it all depends on the quality of the writing, doesn't it? So that's all I can say. So, right, we'll move on. Otherwise, we'll be here all night, and we don't want that, do we? We're about halfway now. About half bloody way. Right, next up, Star Trek now. Go away. Not Star Trek. Star Wars. Star Wars now. Hang on. Why did they put Tawny on the header picture? I know she's a writer, but it doesn't apply to the topic. No, it doesn't. They did mention her in the article, saying that she's going to be a writer, but she's not in it. Or maybe she will be. You never know. You never know. They might do a crossover. Lower Decks and Starfleet Academy, like they did with Strange New Worlds. But you never know, do you? You never know. Anywho, here we go. Right, Carrie's from UPI by Ben Hooper. Carrie Fisher's Star Wars gold bikini auctioned for $175,000. And I thought, when I saw that, I thought, is that all? Because it's like one of the most iconic things, isn't it, from Return of the Jedi? The gold bikini. I thought they'd gone for miles more than that. But anyway. The infamous gold bikini sported by Princess Leia in 1983's Return of the Jedi sold for $175,000 at an auction that also features a screen-used Y-wing model selling for $1.55 million. That'd be more like I'd expected it. Did they wash it first? Probably not. Probably not. If it's just something, a set, it's probably not being washed. No. Hey. So maybe there's some of Carrie's DNA in there they could use to bring her back, clone her. Heritage Auctions said the July 24th to 25th Hollywood Entertainment Signature Auction featured a number of Star Wars artifacts, including the slave Leia bikini, famously worn by Carrie Fisher when she was a prisoner in Jabba's palace. She killed him in it. Well, she were in it, not while he were in it. The costume, inspired by Frank Frazetta, was designed by Nilo Rodis-Jamero and sculpted by Richard Miller. When director George Lucas... some say he did direct it. The director of Return of the Jedi was Richard Marquand, wasn't it? Not George Lucas. Although some people say he essentially directed it. Anyway, showed me the outfit. I thought he was kidding and it made me very nervous, Fisher told NPR in 2016. I had to sit, so not long before she died, I had to sit very straight because I couldn't have lines on my sides like little creases. No creases were allowed, so I had to sit very, very rigid straight. The auction also, but we saw her lying down, didn't we, and stuff, so anyway. Because of that scene in that documentary where I think she was lying down there in a bikini, and I think it's when Mark Hamill's talking about he's got to, when he had to roll down, when he went into the Rancor pit, and he said he had to, roll out of the way because the Gamorrean guard were coming down, and he weighed like 200 pounds, and Carrie Fisher's and that's played by me. But and she was lying down then. But anyway, whatever. The auction also included a Y-wing model used on screen during the final battle of 1977's Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope, aka Star Wars. The model, made by Colin Cantwell, was dubbed the TIE Killer because it had a TIE fighter painted on its nose. The miniature sold for $1.55 million, making it the third most expensive Star Wars prop ever sold at auction. Was that it? Oh, right. So there we go. So somebody's got that now. I wonder if they've worn it. Be some bloke. Be like some bloke that fat as me, just parading around. Look, I've got the bikini. Am I sexy? Build a clone army, says Wingrace. A clone army of Carrie Fishers. Anyway, so there we go. I thought they'd gone for more than $175,000. Bloody skinflints. Sticking with Star Wars, gaming news. Star Wars Outlaws lead says she would absolutely like to play Kay Vess in live action. The actress that, the likeness model for Kay Vess is actually really pretty. For some reason, they've uglified her. But anyway, Humberly Gonzalez provided both a vocal and motion capture performance for the character. They're going to show a picture of her. Yeah, there she is. I think that's her there, isn't it? I think. Yes, it is. Super pretty, and then they've uglified her. Made her look all mannish. And she looks a bit mannish. Anyway. Kay Vess actress Humberly Gonzalez has said she'd absolutely play Kay Vess in live action. Speaking to VGC, video game something. In a new video, in a new interview, Gonzalez spoke about her interest in playing the character for whom she provides the voice and motion capture performance in a live-action adaptation. She is Section 31. I don't know what you're referring to. Absolutely, she responded, seeing what an actual human connection to the world could look like. I know I have the skills to bring that to real life. Speaking of the responsibility of being the main character in a Star Wars project, Gonzalez called it beautiful responsibility. There's definitely this sense of beautiful responsibility, like I just said. But I also feel like if I were going to be in any franchise, I feel honoured and ready to be part of this one. Being an immigrant and Latina and queer and learning it, so I had to say Latinx then. And learning English at a later age, living in Canada, all of the opportunities that brought me to that point, to then, what you mentioned, queer got to do with it? Then to get in to show my work and be chosen for something like this, it felt very mutual. They're bad as bloody vegetarians, aren't they? She's playing the Delton. Oh, she's in Section 30. Oh, right, she played the Delta in Section 31. Oh, right, Humbly, what's her face? I've just forgotten the name already. Humbly Gonzalez is in Section 31 playing the Delta. All right, fair enough. Did we see her in the trailer? I don't know. I wasn't paying any attention, to be honest. VGC recently played 4 hours of Star Wars Outlaws. We've published 20 minutes of 4K footage of Star Wars Outlaws, alongside a deep dive preview of the game. Star Wars Outlaws will be released on August 30th for PS5, Xbox X and S, Series X and S, and PC. Players who purchase the game's Gold or Ultimate Editions will receive 3 days of early access in addition to digital goods, including the game's Season Pass. The Season Pass will also include a Day 1 exclusive mission with Jabba, called Jabba's Gambit, which has been a bit, controversial.
Star Wars.
Shut up, hasn't it? I just want to see, go away. What we're looking at. Oh, there she is. There's the uglified. So there we go. We'll see. Will she pop up in live action? I don't know, because it's set between Empire and Return of the Jedi, isn't it? So, what could she appear in? Andor, which is probably done anyway, isn't it? I don't know. Scottish Geek Guys here. Howdy, folks. Not looking forward to the Star Wars game, but the new Astros game on PS5. Yes, Astros. Don't know that one. I don't know that one. I will look it up. I've had to look it up on here now. Astros PS5. See if it finds it. Astro's Playroom. Oh, is that what you're on? Are they doing another one of them? Because that came free, didn't it, with the PS5? It did with mine anyway. And I never really bothered with it. So is that what you're on about? They're doing another one of those. Another Astro's Playroom. Yeah. It's still on me thing. I just never bother with it. Anyway, so there we go. But that's coming out soon, isn't it? Does it say when it's coming out? I've forgotten already. August 30th. So I'll not get it straight away, unless it's super cheap. But it won't be, will it? It won't be cheap. It's one of these games that's going to be super expensive, isn't it? And it'll probably have a 27 quadrillion gigabyte patch, day 1 patch, because they always do. Right, we're moving on to Alien Romulus. If Sci-Fi Quest were here, he'd be really excited. And Mr. H. Here we go, from Bloody Disgusting, John Squires. Alien Romulus, check out 7 brand new posters and a fresh TV spot. So there's one of them. Cool poster, must admit. Right, tickets are now on sale for 20th Century Studios. Just bring Fox back. I know, spoilers, Deadpool and Wolverine, the given 20th Century Fox a nice send-off, but just bring it back. Why would Sci-Fi Quest care? Is it a Rebel Moo? It's his second favourite thing. Which brings the classic sci-fi horror franchise back to theatres nationwide beginning August 16th, 2024. From director Fede Alvarez, Evil Dead Don't Breathe, both decent films, the film will be available in IMAX, Dolby Cinema, and he said Doubly then, like her off Spinal Tap, Dolby Cinema, 4DX, ScreenX and formats everywhere. On that note, 7 brand new exhibitor posters have been unleashed this afternoon, all of which you'll find below. Additionally, you'll find a brand new TV spot for the film below. Don't forget to purchase advance tickets today for the sci-fi horror thriller at Fandango or wherever tickets are sold. It's an advert, isn't it? Not an article. In Alien Romulus, while scavenging the deep ends of a derelict space station, a group of young space colonisers come face to face with the most terrifying life form in the universe. So is it set closer to the time of Aliens than it is to Alien? So has the alien been... Because they're saying it's you know, what they call him, the big guy. Just said the first alien. The alien from the first film, has he been... Because it's not a spoiler, is it? It's been in the trailers and stuff, and we've seen images. Has he been floating about for like, I don't know, 50 years then? I don't know. Anyway. Kaylee Spaney, the Craft Legacy, Pacific Remote Rising, leads the cast alongside Isabella Merced, David Johnson, Archie Renault, Spike Fern and Aileen Wu. Fede Alvarez co-wrote the script with Rodo Sayeghis, I'm going to butcher that, Rodo Sayeghis, I don't know. Evil Dead. Ridley Scott is on board as a producer for the film, I think just in name only. The first movie in the franchise to be released by Disney. Alien Romulus is based on characters created by Dan O'Bannon, the late Dan O'Bannon, and Ronald Shusett. Is he dead as well? I don't know. I think it's in between. Yes, it's in between Alien and Aliens, but is it closer to Aliens than Alien? I don't know. Because they seem to be on LV-426, don't they? I'm getting that feeling. So has that been going for a while? I don't know, but we didn't see. Well, I don't know. Anyway, but whatever. I suppose we'll find out when the film comes out, which is not long off, is it? Would I say August 16th? Only a couple of weeks off. Anyway, let's watch this.
Oh my God.
Annie, open the door. Annie, open the door.
What are you doing? Annie, open the door.
It's all right. I'm going to get you out. Don't look over there.
I need you to open that door right now. Come on, open the door. Why aren't you out? What are you doing? You have to run right now.
Alien Romulus, rated R. Experience it in IMAX. Get tickets now.
Experience in IMAX. Tickets. Get tickets now. Rated R. Not NC-17. So there we go. Yeah, whatever. I wasn't really paying much attention because I noticed my camera went off, so I was faffing about with that while that played, but never mind. I saw somebody fall. Anyway, here we got the posters. 4DX, is that with the blow air on you and drip water on you, stuff like that? And make smells. I don't know. I've not seen a 4DX film. Cool. Wayland Yutani helmet with an alien stinger tail going through it, I suppose. That's the one we saw at the top. Alien Romulus. Somebody. Oh, look, the alien in her eye. And there's the alien with the space station. Has it got a name? Because it's a space station with two parts, isn't it? Romulus and Remus, but the space station has a name as well, doesn't it? And I forgot what it is. They had a pretty extensive trailer before Deadpool and Wolverine when I saw it. And make smells in an alien movie. Not sure I need that. What does the alien smell of? Don't know. I imagine it's a bit, pungent, sulphury smell. With all that acid and stuff. I imagine. Like ammonia. I imagine the smell of ammonia. ScreenX. With the alien and the rings of the planet. That's why that makes me think it's LV-426. Or as it were called in the novel for aliens, it were called Acheron, wasn't it? The moon. But anyway. Dobley with the helmet. It's broken, your helmet, love. It's going to get in and get you. AMC Thrills and Chills. That's from the 50s, isn't it? Driving. There we go. Cool. With like people in it. He's the android, isn't he? Hope he's not an A2 because they're twitchy. There we go. Oh, that's it. Right, fair enough. So cool posters. They are cool posters, actually. I like that one. I do like that one. And I like which other one is it? That one. I like that one as well. So there we go. Looking forward to that. Not that I'll be able to go and see it, but maybe it'll be on Disney Plus pretty quick. We'll see. Right, moving on. And I hope it's as good as it looks. I hope it's not going to disappoint us. Right, a couple of boys' stories now, or Vought Rising, I should say, because that's the spin-off series that's coming. Here it is from Sci-Fi Now. By Team Sci-Fi Now. Don't even give the writers, their own credits. Just all part of a team. Does that mean it's AI? Speaking of AI, I forgot to mention, if you go to the community section, I was faffing about with AI thumbnails and images for this stream, and I thought, no, I won't bother, but I put them in the community section. I just typed in basically a description of what we're going to be talking about. Deadpool and Wolverine and Star Trek and stuff like that, and it's some baffling images. It's in the community section. Anywho, Vought Rising, Jensen Ackles to star in The Boys prequel. Vought Rising will be a twisted murder mystery about the origins of Vought in the 1950s. But I bet they still hate men. I like The Boys, but they just hate men in it, don't they? Men are always getting the willies and stuff blown up and all that jazz. But anyway. We'll be getting more Soldier Boy action as the world of The Boys gets expanded once more with a new prequel series that will bring back Jensen Ackles as the bad boy superhero alongside Aya Cash, was it Aya? Don't know. As Stormfront. Oh, I liked her. In Vought Rising. But, fans of the comics didn't like that because I think Stormfront were a man, wasn't he, in the comics, but the gender swapped him. Past spin-offs from the world of The Boys include Gen V, which were alright, but again, man-hating, but the story were alright. And The Boys presents Diabolical, which I've not seen. Was that the animated one? I never got around to watching that. Cash and Ackles will also serve as producers on the series, and Paul Grelong, The Boys Revolution, will serve as showrunner and executive producer. Eric Kripke, Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, James Weaver, blah, 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 blah. Other 80 billion producers, because that's what happens these days. We are excited to bring you the next deranged series from the world of The Boys, said executive producer Eric Kripke and series showrunner Comic-Con. It's a twisted murder mystery about the origins of Vought in the 1950s, the early exploits of Soldier Boy, and the diabolical manoeuvres of a soup known to fans as Stormfront, who was then going by the name Clara Vought. We cannot wait to blow your minds and trouble your souls with this salacious, grisly saga drenched in blood and Compound V. So there we go, and then we've got another story afterwards, so just bear with me. Carrying on, because there's another thing about it. Here we go. This article's from Total Film, Bradley Russell. There we go. It says, most of the female characters were men in the comics, Newman, Stormfront, Mallory. Because I've not read the comics, so I don't know. All I know about the comics is that Gary from Nerdrotic were in it, and I forgot his name now. Huey were based on Simon Pegg, and Simon Pegg went on to play Huey's dad, didn't he? So anyway, so there we go. That's all I know about the comics. Right, here we go. The Boys showrunner says new spin-off Vought Rising was originally rejected 4 years ago, and now it's the comic book creator's favourite project from the TV team. And there's Stormfront. I did like that character. because she was mental. In case you missed the news, The Boys has a new spin-off on the way titled Vought Rising. The Prime series will be set in the 1950s. Blah, blah, blah. We know all this. But this isn't the first bite of the cherry for The Boys creator Eric Kripke, who told Games Radar Plus that his initial pitch for the series 4 years ago wasn't exactly met with a thumbs up. Wingre says, the comics are much more mean-spirited. I personally prefer the show. All right. Mean-spirited. But I think the show's getting a bit mean, particularly with men. Getting a bit... it's all about, girl power, isn't it, these days? But it seems to be. And men get the thin end of the shitty end of the stick more often than not, don't they? But anyway, where were we? In 2020, says Eric Kripke, I went to Amazon to pitch them 2 spin-offs, Kripke said. One was Gen V and one was Vought Rising. They bought Gen V and said, depending on how it goes, we'll do Vought Rising too. Kripke continued, it just makes so much sense to me because The Boys, at its heart, is a film noir cops and robbers story. If you ask comic co-creator Garth Ennis what inspired The Boys, he says James Ellroy novels. To go back to the source and do LA Confidential with superheroes with fedoras and trench coats makes so much sense to me. It's so visual and cool. Coincidentally, I watched LA Confidential again quite recently. Amazing film. One of my favourites of all time. In fact, I don't know. I was going to do it on... what was that? Oh, something outside. I was going to think about doing it on Magnificent Mondays, but I don't know. It's a bit dense for me. Or I'm too dense to do it justice. But great film, LA Confidential. But anyway. It's even got the seal of approval from Ennis, with Kripke revealing that he currently rates it above The Boys and Gen V in terms of the projects delivered by the team. For the record, I sent the pilot script to Garth. He said, Paddy, I'm Wayne. He said, out of everything you guys have done, this one's my favourite. Elsewhere, The Boys Season 5 is set to bring the mainline series to a close. It already has done, hasn't it? Has it? Yeah, it has. It's finished, hasn't it? Gen V Season 2 is currently in production and will arrive next year. If you believe Carl Urban, The Boys' final season won't air until 2026. Bollocks, as he might say. So there we go. I'm looking forward to that because I do like The Boys stuff, but I've not got... no, it's Season 4 we've just had. Oh, right, so... Oh, right, Season 5 is set to bring the mainline series to a close. Oh, right, there's one more season. Said that about Supernatural, didn't he? Well, there's supposed to be 5 seasons of Bloody hell. Did you hear that? Some idiot outside with a noisy exhaust. Frightened me to death. He said that about Supernatural, didn't he, Eric Kripke? So that was supposed to run for 5 seasons. Ended up going for 15. But I think he left, didn't he? I don't know after 5 seasons, but he left pretty early, didn't he? Still had his name on it, but passed it on to others. Anyway, right, so there we go. Idiots. It'll be some kids. They'll be on like I don't know, like a quad bike or something like that. There will be. They won't have helmets on or anything like that. Maybe they'll get hit by a bus. He also made Timeless, which was great. I've not seen that, so I don't know. And most of the cast showed up in The Boys. All right, cool. I've not seen that. I've not even heard of it. I've not even heard of Timeless. Anyway, moving on. We're getting there now. We're rattling through them now. Battlestar Galactica. And For All Mankind next. So let me just give this a refresh because I don't know if it's... Oh no, it's there. For some reason, the image isn't showing. I'll refresh it again, see if the image pops up. Let's have a look. Is it going to show? No, it's not showing as an image. Never mind. Right, here we go. San Diego Comic Con 2024. Ronald D. Moore teases For All Mankind Season 5 and reflects on Battlestar Galactica. Says Joe Deckelmeyer and Rachel Foch. Never mind. The most recent episodes of For All Mankind were released in 2023. Great series. I love For All Mankind. It's in my head canon. In my head canon, much like 10,000 BC is like Stargate Zero for me. For All Mankind is like Star Trek Zero. It's like a prequel to Enterprise in my head canon. Even though they mention Star Trek in For All Mankind. Just forget that. Anyway, the most recent... I've always said it should end... For All Mankind, its final season, its final episode, should end with a young engineer coming along with his idea for a warp drive. A young engineer called Zephram Cochrane, just before World War III breaks out. But anyway, that's how I would, in my head canon, it's going to end, but it won't. And for me, Third Rock from the Sun is a prequel to The Orville. I'm thinking of that other one. Anyway. Where were we? Right, the most recent episodes of For All Mankind were released in 2023, and fans have been patiently awaiting news on the 5th season. I was thinking of Big Bang Theory, that's when he said that. I've been patiently awaiting news on the 5th season. In April 2024, it was confirmed by Apple TV Plus that the space-centred series would be returning to the streaming platform, but many details remained under wraps. Joel Kinnaman, Ren Schmidt, Coral Pena, Chris Marshall, Cynthia Wu, Edie Katige, Toby Kebbell, Daniel Stern, Tina Rushing and Svetlana Efremova, I don't know, all made up the cast of Season 4. I forgot what happened. In Season 4. Anyway. Yes, I'm getting... My memory's coming back now in Season 4. There were problems on Mars, wasn't there? And there were kind of a bit of a mutiny, wasn't there, between the NASA people, that the NASA astronauts and the private ones from, I forgot the name of the company, that other area, like SpaceX basically, like that Elon Musk type bloke, wasn't there? They're like problems between them, and they stole a ship, didn't they, to go catch an asteroid and bring it to Mars. It was supposed to be sent to Earth, to be mined, because it were worth a bazillion dollars. But they decided, the SpaceX people, I know it's not called that, stole it, didn't they? Basically, took over the ship and brought it to Mars, so it would. So I think what we're going to see in Season 5 is essentially Mars kind of breaking away from Earth or becoming independent, something like that. But anyway. Right. While at San Diego Comic-Con, executive producer Ronald D. Moore provided Screen Rant with a much-anticipated update and revealed that Costa Ronin will be playing a key figure in the series. He also shared that for... Who's Costa Ronin? I have no idea. He also shared that For All Mankind Season 5 recently began filming. Cool, although it does not yet have an official release date. In addition to his work on the Apple TV Plus show, Moore has been involved in several well-renowned sci-fi projects such as Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek The Next Generation and Roswell. Screen Rant interviewed Ronald D. Moore at San Diego Comic-Con in anticipation of his reunion with Battlestar Galactica star Mary McDonnell on his panel. She played the president, didn't she? The celebrated creator shared hints about what fans can expect in For All Mankind Season 5. I haven't read this article, so I don't know what's going on. Reflected on the cultural impact of BSG, Battlestar Galactica, and discussed the upcoming Outlander spin-off, Blood of My Blood. I've not seen that. That's the one that, it's supposed to be a bit like Highlander or something, where a fella travels back in time, though, to even like the Scottish Highlands or something like that. But I've not seen it. It's not Outlander, that film with Jim Caviezel, however you pronounce it, with the alien monster. It's not that one. Anywho, right. What to expect from For All Mankind Season 5? Screen Rant. For All Mankind Season 5 is going to be closer to our present. How different does that feel from looking at our actual present? Right. Ron D. Moore replies, it's a very different world because the further that we've gotten along this alternate timeline, the changes become bigger and bigger. You're starting to look at a world that doesn't look a lot like ours anymore. Physically, yes, their technology was moved ahead quicker than in our timeline, so they've gotten to things like flat screens and phones faster than we did, but for the most part it still looks like a recognisable world, except for the fact that there's a vibrant space programme on a global level. Speaking of For All Mankind, Joel Kinnaman's wife in that, whose name I've forgotten, but she's astonishingly gorgeous. But she was in The Boys. She popped up in The Boys. She played Carl Urban's, wife, dead wife. She kept appearing to him. It was her same actress, but I forgot what she's called. But she's gorgeous. Anyway, there are many space agencies around the world. There are multiple space stations, and there are thriving new bases and hotels and mining facilities. The Martian base that we established in the last 2 years has gotten much, much bigger. The Martian base is run by a consortium of powers around the world that are cooperating in space and competing with each other at the same time. So on that level, it's very, very different than what we were. What's your approach in exploring the present and future down the line now versus the previous 4 seasons, which rewrote history while still using touchstone events that audiences would recognise? He replies, the philosophy is still the same, but it gets harder the further along you get for the same reason. What started as a small change in history, once you keep following that path, just branches further and further and further away. When it started, the first scene was showing man landing on the moon, and then they did this curveball of it not being the Americans, it were the Russians, the Soviets that landed on the moon first. I think it was Alexei Leonov was the first man on the moon in For All Mankind. It gets harder to make references to political figures that would still function and be relevant in our timeline, but we keep trying to make a way for the audience to have those touchstones because it reminds them of the era, just like the music reminds them of the era and certain historical happenings that we've decided would take place no matter what. This sort of ground the show and reminds the audience this really is a part of your history. Costa Ronin is playing Lenya, a former cosmonaut turned Soviet politician. What can you tease about this character and how he plays into the events of season 5? We just started shooting last week, so a lot of the storylines beyond the first episode are still being reworked and rewritten. We tried to keep a lot of that as surprises, but he'll be a key figure on the show. So it's still going to be, I can't remember, it was still the Soviet Union, wasn't it, in For All Mankind? I think after the 90s. I can't remember what year it were in the last season. Had it gone into was it still in the 80s or gone into the 90s, or was it in the early 2000s? I can't remember. But I still think the Soviet Union was still around, wasn't it? Anywho, right, I love the musical choices you make every single season. I think it was last season that DMX came on, and I was like, what? In For All Mankind? No idea, I don't know. But it hits. Is it like, rap music? I don't know. Who's responsible for choosing the music in the show? He replies, there's a variety of players, but the 2 showrunners, Matt Walpert and Ben Nadivi, are making the final music choices. Matt in particular is very versed in music, and he's a big music lover, but sometimes the directors are popping in with opinions, and some come from the editors. There's definitely a team approach to how that works, blah, blah, blah. One of the things I love most about the show, says Screen Rant, is seeing these concepts, proposals and theoretical possibilities being realised on screen as the result of a never-ending space race. We get the development of things like fusion and power. You mean fusion power? And early adaptation to electric vehicles. I'd love to know what you found the most fascinating and took inspiration from when you were building the world. We're almost ready for a Soviet reunion in real life. It seems to be going that way, doesn't it? It's essentially that, anyway. Probably now, anyway, with Putin. Is essentially he's president for life, isn't he, or whatever he is. Anyway, the first thing that was really interesting and inspiring was just digging through the plans that NASA had that then didn't come to fruition. They had a lot of big ideas in the classic Apollo era of what was going to be the follow-up to Apollo, and it was everything from space stations to moon bases to Mars missions to Venus missions. You can't land people on Venus. And we were shocked at how much material there was and how many really detailed plans there were. We had a lot of stuff to sort of draw from. For instance, Sea Dragon, which is the rocket that launches in the ocean, which I didn't really get that. I thought you'd think that would just make it really... Just why? Anyway, that was a real plan. It was an engineer who came up with the whole plan for how that rocket actually would work. It was going to be bigger than the Saturn V and could launch enormous payloads into orbit. But why launch it from under the sea? You're just adding drag, aren't you? When I saw that and saw the diagram in the paper that he drew up about how this thing was going to be launched, I was like, oh my God, we have to do that. That's fantastic. I think that's how season 1 ended, didn't it? I think showing that launch, I think. Just Temple is here. Almost wish I was there in their universe, not our reality. Yeah, it's cool. It's for all mankind. It's aspirational, isn't it? Because, like I say, it's showing what could have been. There was just sort of why I think it's like a Star Trek prequel, even though they mentioned Star Trek in it. There was just so much thought that NASA had already put in, so we had a tremendous amount of material to say, okay, let's do this piece, and let's do that piece, let's run with that. But that said, the Sea Dragon, I never really understood. You think it just make more problems down the line, you know, having a rocket under the sea. But anyway. Can you share any insight into how the characters in For All Mankind have developed and evolved from Season 1? How long does this article go on for? From Season 1. Are they at the place you always wanted them to go, or did you discover that place as you were making the show? Ronald D. Moore replies, we had a fairly detailed writer's guide at the beginning that had biographical sketches of all the main cast and then future projections of where they were going to go, as well as a general arc for the seasons that we follow. We always talked about how, in theory, it was a 7-season show, much like Star Trek. See, it is going to be. Last episode, Zephram Cochrane with his plans for his warp drive, and the Phoenix. I would say that more or less we've tracked with that, but there were some variations along the way. We certainly didn't anticipate that Gordo and Tracy, spoilers, were going to die at the end of Season 2. I like Gordo and Tracy as well. It's an amazing episode, but that was not part of the plan, and it was very sad. But they went out heroes. Archmage Frey, that mysterious man from Twitch. Did someone call General Ark? Yes, the General Ark. Where is it? It's here somewhere. I've seen it somewhere, the General Ark. There we go. A General Ark for the seasons. And Colonel Plan. That was something that came up organically in the writer's room, and we shied away from it at first because we loved the cast members and the characters, but it was kind of undeniable. We realised this was the best ending for their story, and it was going to be so perfect in the finale, so we made the change, and we had some future plans for both of those characters, not in any great detail, but we had ideas of what would happen to them down the line, so all that were in the bin, wasn't it? That sort of tracks for all the characters in the main cast in Season 1. Most of what we talked about, we've been able to track. Oh, then he goes on to Battlestar Galactica. Screen Rant says, I love Battlestar Galactica, and we're celebrating its 20th anniversary. God, I'm old. The original was introduced to me. I saw the original, 1978 one, at the cinema, at the pictures. That's how old I am. The original was introduced to me by my father, but we got closer while watching the more recent version. How does it feel to know that that show has had such a cultural impact? Ron D. Moore replies, it's really gratifying. We went into the show with high hopes. We had very lofty ambitions about reinventing the sci-fi science fiction space opera, and then we did. At the time it was hard, the budget was pretty tight, and the network wasn't really that supportive at the very beginning. There were lots of battles early on, as in, I think they mean, boardroom battles. But we on the show were believers. We just believed in this, and we told each other, someday they'll love us, someday they will. They may not be watching us now, or they may not love us yet, but we're doing something special and we know it. Is that a song? Song lyrics, isn't it? Someday they love us, someday they will. They may not be watching us now, or they may not love us yet, but we're doing something special and we know it. And it's really, really gratifying. Was it still called a talkie when you saw BSG? Yes. Yes, it was. When things came at the screen and we all went running out in fear from the cinematograph. Oh dear, I'm that old. In the penny arcade. There's a Battlestar Galactica reboot in development. Did you give any advice to Sam Esmail, especially given... Is it still... Oh, I don't know. Especially given the current climate of AI and politics. Ronald replies, no, I mean, he called me. He gave a courtesy call, which is a lovely gesture. He said, I'm doing this, and I hope you're okay with it. And I was like, hey, you don't have to. You don't need my permission, but I appreciate the call. It's very nice, and go with God. It's a tough thing to do, these shows, in the best of times, and I have no idea really what his plans are or where it's going. Cool. You reunited with Mary McDonnell over the weekend for Comic-Con. Would you ever like to see a scripted reunion special for Battlestar Galactica? And would you want to be the one to tackle it? He replied, God, how long is this going on for? Oh, we're nearly done. Right, where were we? I don't know. I said goodbye. To me, I wanted Battlestar Galactica because I have a definitive ending. I felt strongly at the time that I didn't want to then try to put the gang back together later on. So I destroyed the Galactica, sent this fleet into the sun, landed them on Earth and said, this is the end. Singing again. I think it's Jim Morrison. There's a part of me that wishes I hadn't done that because how much fun would it be to work with Eddie again? Edward James Olmos, as they're referring to. How much fun would it be with Mary and James? Oh, I forgot the names. I can't remember his name. James. Oh, it popped in my head and then disappeared. Apollo, Katie Sackhoff, and Trisha Helfer, and all of them. Jamie Bamber. Jamie Bamber. That's what he's on about. Who's British? Now I'm going to forget their names. I love all of them. There's a part of me that would have very much enjoyed doing that. But I feel like we said everything we wanted to say and that we've gone off stage at the right point. I'm happy to leave that desire as our legacy. Right, Outlander, which I've never seen. We're also approaching the end of Outlander with Season 8. Bloody hell. So if I decide to watch that, I'd have a lot of catching up to do, wouldn't I? What do you have in store for Jamie and Claire, especially anything that might surprise the book fans? You're a writer. There's always a way to write more. There always are possibilities. We always try to surprise the book fans. Sometimes the surprise is getting to a place in a different way or delivering a scene in a different moment than they thought. But you're always trying to satisfy them and surprise them at the same time. So we can't really say too much about it. We're in the middle of filming the final season right now, and I can assure the fans that they will have the joy of things that they hope to see, and also the surprise of things they're expecting. I didn't know Donald D. Moore were behind Outlander. What can you tease about... oh, excuse me. What can you tease about Outlander? Oh, God. Blood of my blood. I'm exploding. And about me, by the way, when you say you're a writer. Used to be a writer. I haven't written for a long time. What can you tease about Outlander, Blood of my blood, and how has it felt to hand off the reins as showrunner? Are we nearly done? Matt Roberts has run Outlander into the ground. I don't know because I've not seen it. It might be amazing. Has run Outlander for the past couple of seasons now, and it was great. Matt was there at the very beginning. He was in the writer's room right from the start. So he's been on the show and lived and breathed with it for all these years. So it was a very comfortable transition to having the full-on showrunner gig. He's done an amazing job. He's probably done a better job than I did. Matt came up with the idea for the Blood of My Blood spin-off, and I thought it was a great one. Everyone agreed, and they put it in production. It's just a fun notion to go back and see Castle Loch again, to return to Scotland, and get back into that whole Scottish history, which I think a lot of fans miss. I don't, because I've not seen it. I don't know what happens. The books on the show leave Scotland and go to the American colonies for a good chunk of time, which is great. It gives us a lot of really interesting story. But there was always something in the blood of the show that was Scottish. You kind of wanted to go back to the Highlands, and you wanted to see Colum and Dougal again. Blood of My Blood gives you a chance to sort of revisit all that and tell a story that hadn't heard. That you hadn't heard yet or whatever, and see how Jamie's parents got together. It also tells stories about Claire's parents in the same show. Is it like Brigadoon? I just popped in my head, did that? By somebody, that village in Scotland, isn't it, that pops up every 50 years or something and then disappears after a while. That's a good film that I haven't seen since I was a kid. Brigadoon. Anyway, about For All Mankind Season 5. Right, we've got some pictures. Oh, that's the fella. That's the Elon Musk character. I can't remember his name. There's Joe Kinnaman as Admiral whatever he's got. I've forgotten. Not much of a fan if I can't remember the character's name, can I? There you go. Kuznetsov Station. It's cool. I love For All Mankind. Oh, and there's Toby Kebbell. He's a grease monkey. And that's Joel Kinnaman's daughter, adopted. Rocketing into the new millennium in the 8 years since Season 3, Happy Valley, that's the Mars base, has rapidly expanded its footprint on Mars by turning former foes into partners. Now 2003, alright, the focus of space program has turned to the capture, that must be Season 4 then, has turned to the capture of mining of extremely valuable mineral-rich asteroids that could change the future of both Earth and Mars, but simmering tensions between the residents of the now sprawling international base threaten to undo everything they are working towards. And there's interviews and stuff. Anyway, we'll leave it there. We've done that to death. So I didn't know he did Outlander, Ronald D. Moore. I didn't know. But I'm looking forward to For All Mankind. It's cool. It's cool, For All Mankind. It's a good series. Looking forward to that. What mineral? Unobtainium, yes. Again. Oh, dear. Right. What's this one? Oh, yes. Just remember. Hope I've just clicked on something then. Right, next up, Netflix, BioShock. Netflix's BioShock movie is still happening, says Alex Blackburn, but I don't know what this is supposed to be from. Tom's Guide, but I found it on Microsoft Start. So. Anyway, during a panel at San Diego Comic-Con, producer Roy Lee offered a pretty huge update on Netflix's adaptation of the iconic video game BioShock, directed by Francis Lawrence. That name rings a bell. Did he do I Am Legend? I don't know. Maybe it'll tell us. He revealed that the movie is being reworked to be more personal with a scaled-down budget. So, how can you scale? I mean, the game is like, how can you scale it down and make it more personal? It's like this massive effects game, innit, where you're in this underwater city. But, God knows. The BioShock movie adaptation was initially revealed back in 2022 as a joint effort between Netflix and the game's developers 2K and Take-Two Interactive. In the first BioShock game, players are thrust into a mysterious submerged city called Rapture, which was created in the 1940s by industrialist Andrew Ryan as a haven for those seeking freedom from societal norms and government control. The game begins with a plane crash that leaves the protagonist Jack stranded in Rapture. As Jack explores the city, he learns that Rapture is in ruins. The inhabitants have become violent and mutated due to the use of a substance called Adam, which grants them superhuman abilities, but also makes them hostile. Yes, it does. Can't wait to spend 4 episodes in one room. Yes, that's a little bit of the scaling back the budget. Oh dear. And there's a tweet or whatever. We're doing a much smaller version. Anyway, since the movie was initially announced, Dan Lin has taken over from Scott Stuber as Netflix's head of film. Lin has shifted the streaming service's strategy towards a more restrained approach, in contrast to Stuber's previous focus on broad and expensive film productions. Lee said the new regime has lowered the budgets, so we're doing a much smaller version, going to be a more personal point of view as opposed to a grander big project. Don't bode well, does it? But it could make it better. You never know. It might be, they might have to be more, creative. They're changing it to be a metric similar to box office bonuses, he continued to say. It's a chart. It's this amount of viewers. You get this amount of compensation in terms of increased back end. It motivates the producers to actually do a movie that gets a bigger audience. So there we go. That's it. Be more creative and write a better story than just going for whiz-bang effects. Scene after scene after scene. Maybe, I don't know. But what this means for the BioShock movie. Those who have played the game know that Rapture is such an extensive setting with an incredible amount of lore. So, upon hearing the news of a reduced budget, there have been quite a few concerns. The game's world building is very intricate and expansive, featuring the iconic underwater city of Rapture. A limited budget might restrict the movie's ability to fully realise this setting, potentially leading to a less immersive experience. Or that it'll just be set, like saying, corridors or damp rooms. We're seeing less of the outside of Rapture. In the game, they have lots of big windows. You can see things swimming about outside, or glass tubes. We can move from one part of the city to the other. Yes, and never show the Big Daddy. Yeah, just be from Big Daddy's POV. And what about the little sisters and that? Never see them either. I bet they do away with those altogether. We might see a Big Daddy suit. Because they were originally, Big Daddies, weren't they? They were originally, the workers and stuff that went outside and drilled and all that, didn't they? But, when stuff went awry, they became Big Daddies, didn't they? Where were we? Of course, most of the concern revolves around the special effects, since they're essential for depicting elements like plasmids and Big Daddies. Dedicated fans of BioShock, including me, the writer, have high expectations, and a reduced budget might not meet these expectations for a faithful and visually stunning adaptation. As I said, they might have to be more creative. Saying that, it seems as though the producers, that's me answer for everything, isn't it? The producers and directors know exactly what they're doing when it comes to creating BioShock for the small screen, and I don't want to build dread around this adaptation. Lawrence, when speaking to IO9 back in December 2023, said, I look a lot at The Shining, truthfully, because so much of it is sort of a haunted house idea to me, and that's what really appeals to me. I will also say we've been looking at a lot of Junet and Caro movies, like The City of Lost Children, don't say Alien Resurrection, because he did that, didn't he, Jean-Pierre Jeunet, and Delicatessen, and things like that. So look at French cinema. But we're in very, very early stages. No official prep yet, but we have a great script. Inspiration from The Shining, that sounds promising enough. That's in a hotel, not in an underwater city. The creators are clearly taking their time with this one, and that's a good thing considering the world of BioShock is so huge. Even though it now has a smaller budget, we can only hope that the movie captures the same magic and haunting feeling of Rapture. Maybe it means because it's set in a hotel, in like one location, and they have to be creative with what he were doing, did Kubrick, didn't he? Those are great, but the fun of BioShock is the location, otherwise just set it anywhere. Yes, exactly. We'll just get a lot of damp corridors, basically corridors that look like, submarine corridors and stuff, with lots of doorways with those handles on, them turny things. Anyway, we'll see, won't we? We'll see. Hopefully it'll be good, but you never know. You never know. It might be rubbish, might be good. We don't know until we see it. Right. Moving on. I think we've got one more. Or maybe two. I can't remember. Yes, one more. Oh, and it's a news thing. It's science news, which I thought were interesting, which caught my eye. Science news. Here we go. From BBC Sky at Night magazine. Ian Todd reporting. But before that, blast doors cover everything until they open them in the last 5 minutes. Yes. And all water comes in. Alien spaceships' warp drive technology could be detected by looking for ripples in space-time, say scientists. Warp drive technology may be science fiction, or is it? But understanding it can teach us a lot about the universe. Right. Alien spaceships. Can you read that, by the way? So I'll make that a bit bigger. There we go. Alien spaceships that use warp drive technology could be detected by the gravitational waves they produce, according to a study. If we're interested in searching for technologically advanced species in the galaxy that have mastered travelling at warp speed, gravitational waves detection may be the way to do it. A staple of science fiction books, films and TV shows like Star Trek, warp drive technology effectively enables faster-than-light travel by producing a bubble that compresses the space-time between a spacecraft and its destination. Even though warp drives are purely theoretical, they have a well-defined description in Einstein's theory of general relativity, says Dr. Katie Clough, the study's lead author from Queen Mary University of London. So numerical simulations allow us to explore the impact they might have on space-time in the form of gravitational waves. But just go over to Area 51 and ask them all about it, because they've got some, flying saucers and stuff. The sport model that uses gravity, doesn't it, to fly and bend in gravity. If you believe Bob Lazar, but anyway, there's two black holes creating galactic. That's how they found gravity waves, didn't they? Two black holes colliding. The construction of warp drives is currently beyond humanity's capabilities, but what about detecting other civilizations that may have mastered the concept? The study authors say gravitational waves could be the answer. Gravitational waves are often referred to as ripples in space-time because they are distortions in the fabric of time and space caused by cataclysmic events such as two black holes colliding. They were theorized by Albert Einstein, and the first confirmed detection of gravitational waves was announced on 11th of February 2016 by David Reitz, Executive Director of the US Laser Interferometry Gravitational Wave Observatory, LIGO. Yes, and it meant that the gravitons were no longer a thing, apparently, didn't it? Because they used to think that gravity, they were like particles of gravity called gravitons, but now they've decided that gravity moves in waves and not particles, so now there's no such thing as gravitons. But I still use them in Mercury Rapids, because that's how the alien ships hover above the ground. The inverse gravitons. But whatever. The team behind this particular warp drive study from Queen Mary University of London, Cardiff University and the University of Potsdam and the Max Planck Institute, MPI, for gravitational physics, say ripples in space-time emitted by the bubble collapse of warp drive technology could be found using gravitational wave detectors. Does that mean when they come out of warp drive, the bubble collapses, then it leaves gravitational waves after it? Sorry, I was imaging in my head. The study is published in the Open Journal of Astrophysics and looks into how exploring new space-times could simulate what no one has observed before. It sounds exciting, but I bet if you read the paper, it's dull as dishwater. But Miguel Alcubierre, created the first warp drive solution during his PhD at Cardiff University in 1994 and subsequently worked at the MPI in Potsdam, says study co-author Dr. Sebastian Kahn from Cardiff University School of Physics and Astronomy. It's all Star Trek's coming true, isn't it? So it's only natural that we carry on the tradition of warp drive research in this era of gravitational wave astronomy. A jelly. Think of jelly as space-time and the wobbles as gravitational waves. I just wondered if it was, if it moved, if you clicked on it, but it doesn't. Right, any signal generator from a warp bubble of about 1 kilometre in size would be a short, high-frequency burst, which is beyond the abilities of current detectors to pick up. We'll make better ones. But, say the authors, future higher-frequency instruments might be able to, and are not beyond our current technology. In our study, the initial shape of the space-time is the warp bubble described by Alcubierre. I'm probably mispronouncing that, I'm sorry. Says Dr. Khan, who cautions... I should have, a little clip I can play of him going Khan. Never mind. I didn't know, did I? Says Dr. Khan, who cautions, while we were able to demonstrate that an observable signal could in principle be found by future detectors, given the speculative nature of the work, this isn't sufficient to drive future instrument development. But how far, how would it work? I don't know, but anyway, whatever. The study also found that the collapse of warp drive matter would emit a wave of negative energy matter, followed by alternating positive and negative waves. Dry. This results in a net increase in the overall energy of the system and could produce another signature of the warp drive bubble collapse if the outgoing waves interacted with normal matter. There's the Enterprise D. Da, da, da. Even though I'm doing the music for the original series, but never mind. Isn't this all just speculative science fiction? The study does have real scientific implications, say the authors. For me, the most important aspect of the study is the novelty of accurately modelling the dynamics of negative energy spacetimes, says Professor Tim Dietrich from the Max Planck Institute for Gravitational Physics, a study co-author, and the possibility of extending the techniques to physical situations that can help us better understand the evolution and origin of our universe, or the avoidance of singularities at the centre of black holes. Now, the team planned to look into how different warp drive models would produce different signals and investigate the collapse of bubbles travelling at speeds exceeding the speed of light. The paper is entitled What No One Has Seen Before, Gravitational Waveforms from Warp Drive Collapse, and is published in the Open Journal of Astrophysics. Cool. So I reckon in a few years we'll get an announcement saying they've found evidence of a ship. Anyway, I love the D. Yes, I do. I like the NX-01. I think the D is probably my favourite. It's close between the Enterprise D and the NX-01. But anyway, so yes, as I said, I think we'll get an announcement in, I don't know, within 10 years. I'm going to say, or mid-2025, that they've detected evidence of a warp drive being deactivated, a ship coming out of warp drive, and it'll be quite close as well. It'll be within 100 light years. So that's my prediction. That's my toygnostication for the night. I think I side on the NX. So the NX is cool, isn't it? But I do like the D. Because it's lovely to look at. It's a cool design. It's a hotel in space, in essentially. It's curves and all that stuff. It's not clunky. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not clunky. But anyway, right. So there we go. So that's that. Right, we'll leave it there. We're done now. I think that was the last one. Yes, it was. That was the last one. So we're all done and dusted for another week until I find some other news that I'll do a separate video on. Maybe. We'll see. Right, we'll leave it there. What's coming up next? Now then, got quite a few things coming up next. I'll get them in the right order. I'm dropping stuff. Right, on Friday, we've got a double bill. A Jack the Ripper double bill. Hang on, I've got to get this out just a minute. Oh, good heavens, I'm doing some burping, I am. Just bear with me. Right, here we go. Right, I've got a Jack the Ripper double bill, starting with Murder by Decree. I've not got a physical copy of this, but I've got it on Amazon. There we go, you purchase this. So Murder by Decree, Jack the Ripper story with Sherlock Holmes solving the mystery of who Jack the Ripper is. Cool film, directed by Bob Clark, who brought us Porky's and Black Christmas and stuff. Cool film. James Mason in it as well, and Donald Sutherland, Anthony Quayle, and others. So that's the first up, and then afterwards, hang on. Afterwards, then we're doing From Hell, the Johnny Depp film where Johnny Depp plays Inspector Aberline, also looking to stop Jack the Ripper. That's cool. That stars Johnny Depp and Heather Graham and Ian Holm and other people. So there we go. Based on a comic book by Wizard Alan Moore, who probably had his name taken off it for some reason. I don't know. But anyway. Then what's next? Next Monday, for Magnificent Mondays, I think it's next Monday. Is War of the Worlds, the original, from 1953, cool film. So that's what we're doing next Monday. George Powell's War of the Worlds, directed by Byron Haskin, starring Gene Barry and Anne Robinson. Ooh, I got there in the end. There we go. So that's a cool film. And then the Monday after, see, I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? But I dug these DVDs out. I was looking for another DVD. I can't remember which one, but I came across these while I was doing. So I thought, and then the Monday after, we're doing Sphere. I really like this film. Is it a guilty pleasure? I don't know. I suppose you could say it is. But Dustin Hoffman, Sharon Stone, and Samuel L. Jackson in Sphere, written by Michael Crichton, and directed by Barry Levinson. It's a cool film with a crap ending. But anyway, so that's what's coming up. So, I don't think I've worked out what next week's Friday night appointment with Fear is, or have I? Let me check. Have I set something up? Because I can't remember. Just bear with me. Oh, hang on, I've set something up. What was that? Oh, yes, I forgot. Hang on. Yes. Next week's Friday night appointment with Veer is The Devil Rides Out. Just bear with me. I haven't got the disc. Let's get the dust off my disc. My box set. Yes. Me trusty old Hammer horror box set, the Hammer collection. So I found it in here. Devil Rides Out is in here, look. So, just bear with me. Here it comes. Me trusty old Hammer box set. Quatermass and the Pit, we've done that one. Vengeance of She. There we go. The Devil Rides Out. There we go. Can you see? There it is. Starring Christopher Lee and others. Charles Gray. Well, I've got a cat that I've named Charles Gray because it's a grey cat. Not my cat, it's a neighbour's cat. He's actually called Tiger, but I call him Charles Gray. So that's a week on Friday. So, right. I think it says the fear for next Friday is sitting alone with our own thoughts. That's what I fear every day. Oh dear. So that's what's coming up. So, a packed schedule ahead. I've planned ahead for once. Well, I've got some other stuff as well I'm planning. I told you before, haven't I? Let me put them there in a minute. At some point I'll be doing that. Quatermass double bill, Quatermass Experiment, Quatermass 2. Haven't decided if to do it Appointment with Fear or Magnificent Mondays. I think it'll be Appointment with Fear because they're essentially Hammer films. Well, they are Hammer films, as it says there. So I'm going to be doing that at some point, and I'm going to be doing The Objective. So that's a good film. And I'll be doing that as well. Another Appointment with Fear film I'll be doing will be The Orphanage. So there we go. But they're future things, future plans that I haven't set up yet. Right. Josh Temple says, if the French-speaking voices in my head would shut up, I'd be able to sit quiet with my thoughts. French-speaking voices. And they're going like, je m'appelle Josh Temple, Harpoon, n'est-ce pas? Is that what they're like? Anywho, right, we'll leave it there. We're all done the duster. So thanks, Josh Temple, for looking after us with your harpoon. And Winggrace for all, just keeping me on the straight and narrow with your knowledge of everything. And that's Mace Frey. We've never seen the same room as Winggrace and Jimmy, Scottish Geek Guy, as well. Is that it? Oh no, we had Tim Rose right at the beginning, didn't we? So if Tim Rose is still around, thank you as well for contributing to the show. Right, hang on. Sounds less yelling but close. Or is it, are they yelling at you in French? Merde! Like that. Oh dear. So, I'm going. So, thanks for watching, and wherever you are, look after each other, and until next time, I'll say this.